What's up, everybody? It's Matt from CNZ Performance, and as you can see here in front of me, I have an engine on the stand. It is none other than an LT1 block that we were working on earlier. This LT1 block is owned by the owner of CNZ Performance, one of our good friends, and where we actually go use the dyno a lot. This engine was supposed to be a very simple and straightforward build. He sent it to us. This came from GM as a long block. He has about 2,000 miles on it, and as of last time, as you can see, we found that the crank had rainbowing on it. The thrust bearing had eaten up because the thrust was set incorrectly. Then we had the mains had issues with the clearance. There was a lot of walking inside on the clearances. Nothing was consistent. So we went ahead and got main studs since we were doing it anyways and got it line honed. So that's all good now. And now I have standard and oversized bearings. I'm going to mix half and half so I can get a little bit more clearance. If I have to, I will go with the next size, which is all oversized, so I can get the clearance that I want. This is going to be probably a 1,000 horsepower motor, if not more, so I want to give a little more clearance than what we would normally see in these, so we make sure we don't have any issues with that. But for right now, I got the some of the bearings in. I'm going to go ahead and get the main caps installed back on here and get these torqued down so I can go ahead and start measuring clearances to make sure that our clearance is good. And then I'll come back with you guys and we'll get the crank installed and go ahead and start finishing getting this engine buttoned up so they can get it back in the Camaro. Catch you guys here in a few. Alright, everybody, so now I'm going to give you a little bit of a tech tip, a little bit of a how-to. As we're working on this LT1 block, a lot of people are wondering, how are you checking the clearances? Because I hear people talk of what clearance is. So if you look over here at the engine, I'll turn it towards you guys and bring it a little closer. So right here, we have main caps, we have our main studs, and then we have our bearings right here inside the mains. So we have our cam bearings here. Those have a clearance. We have our main bearings. We have our rod bearings that go on the crank. So how do we check that? So I put the bearings in as if the crankshaft was already in here, but it's not. I torque these down to spec. So it's 65 for the inside, 55 for the outside per ARP specs. So now that the bearing is actually the way it's going to be whenever the crankshaft is in, I have to measure the clearance. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our crankshaft, which is right down here. Okay, so I have a micrometer here. So what we're going to do, and I do it on all of them to see if they're consistent. This crank's already been polished and clearance, so we're good. Everything's consistent. I already had it checked in the machine shop. However, I have to make sure that the clearance between this journal here on the crankshaft and the bearings here is correct. On your stock engines, it's a little different. This one, I'm wanting 2 to 2.5 thou of clearance because this is a motor that's going to be boosted with a big pro charger as well as nitrous. We're going to make a lot of power, probably north of 1,000 horsepower. So with that, I want a little more bearing clearance, kind of keep the heat down. It helps with overall longevity on the higher horsepower builds. So what you're going to do is, of course, you have to know how to adjust these micrometers. But I'm going to get inside here and I'm going to check the clearance. So once I get this set to where I want it, there's a bunch of ways you can do this. You can actually read the micrometer and read, this is 2 to 3 inches, and then you can read your thousands and your ten thousandths in here to see what the exact size of this is, and then you can go inside here with the internal mics, measure that, subtract the difference. You can do it with plastic gauge. Put the crankshaft in, and to be honest, I do that on all the builds anyways, just to double check to make sure that all my measurement tools are correct. Sometimes you have issues. So once I get this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this, and then I'm going to take my dial bore gauge here. My dial bore gauge, and what I do is I take it and I put it inside of the micrometer and I zero it out. So once I zero this out, let's see if I can get it on camera. You have to sit it on a flat surface to zero these because it's not the easiest task. So I'm gonna set it in there, and I'm gonna make sure that that gauge is set to 0. Once that's set to 0, that's telling me that the size of this is gonna be the size of this at 0, to make it in layman's terms. Now I'm gonna put this inside of the journal over here, and I'm gonna look and see what the difference is between the two. So you wanna try a couple different angles, but I'm gonna check here, and this is showing me my highest reading is right at 2.5 thousandths of an inch. It's right where I want it. So that's good for this motor. Everybody sets their motors up different. Engines, motors, whatever you want to call them. But that's how I'm checking the clearance on this one, and that's how you can check it on yours. You can also just do it the other way with plastic gauge, which I do have on the channel as well. So you can check it that way. But if you guys have any questions, just let us know down in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and check the bearing clearance on all of these to make sure they are consistent with what I'm getting on here. I'll get the crankshaft installed in the short block, and then I'll probably throw some plastic gauge in there just to double check to make sure that my readings on here and my measurements are the same as my readings here, or very close. They're not going to be exactly accurate. I usually do double checks, if not triple, especially on the higher horsepower engines, just to make sure everything's good. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that going. I'm gonna let you guys sit back and watch, and we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this short block installed as far as the crankshaft goes, and get this torqued down so I can start getting the pistons installed. Catch you guys here in a few.
They say you die when you don't dream. Yeah. Guess I'm alive cause I still believe. Look at the sky, turn what you see. I see stars that look like me. Take a guess how I live. Bet every time you be wrong, you couldn't walk a mile in these kicks. You don't even know the path where I've been. Talking about rolling coins and make ends. Took a lot of L's but never did quit. Took it on the chin and look at my strength. Place that bet, the chips are
Alright, so all of those bearing clearances are right around 2 thou, which is perfect for what we're doing on this application. I'm going to call 2 thou good. So we're going to go ahead and start getting this assembled. And then once I get the crank and everything in, I'll jump back in here with you in a few.
Say that you're pressure, you don't know pressure. I'm here for the bank, you're here for the extras. Just me and the fam, I don't need no extras. It's the ones that I love that I treat like treasure. Fed up, I'm really fed up. I hear the sides out, I never said much. Fed up, I'm really fed up. I had to fall back so I could step up. Come on this walk if you could fit in these shoes. I face some times when I had nothing to lose. I beat the odds and now I'm living the proof. But I still go hard like I got something to prove. I get up, I go hard to the day that I came. All those losses, they made me the man. From the start and I stand today. I go hard as I can. Couldn't wait to see Friday. Back when things were going sideways. Now I do things my way. In this fast lane on the highway, I was slowing down but I sped up. Making sure we all fed up. Hard times I was fed up. Head high, never said much. And I love where I've been. Love where I'm headed. Moving love, been spreading love, cause it's love that'll win. Used to be too quiet, but now I'm on 10. I was down bad, then was back up.
Alright everybody, so as you saw in the video, we went ahead and got the crank in, we got the mains in, we got all of our bearing clearances set, all of that is perfectly fine. Thrust is good, verified what the machine shop has already verified for us, because we went and sent it off and got the thrust checked and make sure we got thrust bearings do good. We made sure we went ahead and got the crank polished, got the thrust surfaces polished as well. Now we're going to go ahead and start putting all of our pistons in the motor. Pistons are over there, and they're going in here. So, for those that don't know how to put pistons in a motor, I have videos on how to do it. But basically, these are the rods. They're cracked, so we're going to take these bolts out, knock the bottom off, put bearings in here, and then we're going to put them in here. So, if you're ever wondering direction on pistons, so if you look in here, this set of cylinders is further forward than that set of cylinders. And so you can see over here as well. So when you put the piston in, it's going to be basically touching the crank on this side, touching another piston on this side. That's very important. So what you have to do is look at your rods as far as confirming direction. So if you see this one, this is flat. The surface right here is pretty much flat, and the other side has a chamfer. See, it's got a little machined portion that gives you more clearance. That goes towards the crank. So basically, we're gonna put it in like that. I didn't do the markings on top. The previous shop that was gonna work on it, which good thing they brought it to me, because somehow the rods got put on backwards. And there's Tristan, and he's just being vulgar. He's an angry little ginger. Wait,
Short people think.
is calling you ginger racist? No. But if you say the anagram, it's racist.
Yes.
But if I call you a ginger, it's not racist.
No.
How is that fair? That don't make sense.
I'm white, so it doesn't matter.
So white people don't get offended.
That's not what I said.
Oh.
I don't get
I was
offended.
gonna say, ask people in Boston.
There's some Karens.
They go crazy and shout out.
Karens don't watch our videos, so we're fine.
I don't like Karens. Karens don't like our cars. Karens don't like us doing donuts in the parking lot.
Don't care.
Put the pistons in.